Now, there's a difference between theory and policy. Very interesting. Academics will produce a theory, but they'll say, I'm not proselytizing, I'm not advocating, I'm not proposing a policy. That's something think tanks will do. This is also very, I mean, you could draw an analogy. Arthashastra would be probably like a policy statement, Arthashastra, because it's a position. It's a position Kautilya takes on governance, political governance, economic governance, Kautilya's position. It's a very profound position. Probably one of the earliest, policy papers or policy works is Arthashastra. And we ought to think of it like that. Whereas something like philosophy, metaphysics, the nature of reality, is it Advait, is it Vishit Advait, is it Dvait? That is not a policy in terms of how you govern and so on. That's a statement, an exploration into the nature of truths. That's theory. So in the American context, the think tanks are known to produce policy statements. Policy on this, that, policy on China, policy on environment, greenhouse effect, which side are you on of the debate, and so on. Now, I'll give you a few examples of think tanks, a couple of examples. First is Heritage Foundation. Now, this is a very Republican, solid, probably the prestigious Republican foundation. They have endorsed Ted Cruz for the Republican presidency before Ted Cruz dropped out. They have a evaluation system, a point system, very official. It's on their website. What are the issues that a conservative should believe in? What should be the policies of a conservative on all kind of topics affecting society, domestic, international, everything. And then they give ratings of every candidate. And they rated Ted Cruz not only number one, but they said he's the nearly perfect candidate. So for those of you who follow American politics, you know how Christian fundamentalist Ted Cruz is by mainstream American media's definition, by his own definition. He also says the Bible is his guide. He believes in literal interpretation of the Bible. That guides him on all kinds of policy statements he makes. And so he made a great speech at Heritage Foundation. Heritage Foundation endorsed him as the official candidate. Heritage Foundation says that they are policy entrepreneurs. That's a very interesting term. Policy entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur is somebody who goes for guerrilla warfare tactics, whatever it takes to get his policy through the door. And Heritage Foundation is known for that. And they are very large, very respectable, very institutionally robust. So they produce serious work. And they say that what they are based on is traditional American values. Now, that's a code word for Judeo-Christian values. Deep South, that is the Ted Cruz territory. And it says that it believes that these values are worth conserving and renewing. The equivalent thing in India would be for a think tank to say, we are based on Vedic values, and we want to conserve them and renew them. And we have a point system for evaluating all the candidates in an election based on all the policies that come out of Arthashastra, Dharmashastra, Itihas and all that. And we're going to rate all these candidates and give them a score. And that's how we'll make it public on our website. And that's how we'll decide who should be given the votes, who should be given the support. Now, this kind of a think tank in India would be considered, Hindutva, right wing, whatever. In the United States, they do call it, Christian right wing, but Heritage Foundation says, so what? What's wrong with that? Okay, that's the difference. That in the United States, you can have one of the most prestigious think tanks very openly and publicly espousing a Christian point of view and lobbying and funding and giving platforms to candidates based on how compliant or not compliant they are with that point of view. Okay, so now another example that I will, before I leave Heritage Foundation and India Foundation, from Delhi, which is very prestigious, very nice. It's a new foundation, RSS linked, and done a very high quality professional job. The Heritage Foundation teamed up with India Foundation to do a one-day seminar at the end of Modi's trip on the significance of Modi and so on. Now, this type of collaboration, both sides see as a way to influence each other. The American Heritage Foundation side looks at it as a way to bring in Christian ideas, Republican, conservative ideas into the Indian discourse through a very powerful Indian foundation, and also to learn from them what Indian thinking is like in the Modi government. And of course, the India Foundation looks at it as an opportunity to raise its own profile and also to educate Americans about the Indian point of view on China, on Pakistan, on security, and so on. So both sides benefit, both sides are careful what to say, what not to say, and I encourage that. I think these are good ideas, but I'll also talk about some caution, what we have to be cautionate about.
और हमारे देश के लिए अगर सबसे बड़ी एक समाज की मन में एक आवश्यकता है तो हमारी सोसाइटी हिस्ट्री कॉन्शियस होनी चाहिए. इतिहास को भुला देने वाली समाज व्यवस्था नहीं होनी चाहिए.